Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, here to talk about rage. No! This is Rager from iGear's Mini Warriors lineup. Let's huff it up and see what's grinding his gears. Rager's really trying to look like a dude called Huffer from the first generation of some 80s cartoon show. He's got the silhouette, but the orange plastic has a little more yellow in it than I'd have liked. He's lacking paint in his rear end, but the windows and front detailings make up for it nicely. And yeah, those smokestacks are pointing sideways. Apparently that's a thing. I don't know trucks very well, but I do know transformations. Being a tiny robot, Rager's got a pretty simple transformation. But he's got just enough extra swivels to keep things satisfying. I really dig the shoulder to front axle rotation, along with his hand reveal. His head reveal is, well, we'll talk about it. Over yellow or not, this guy looks hella Huffer now. Rager hits a cool aesthetic balance between 80s toys and 80s cartoon designs, with his grumpy head sculpt and boxy proportions. Thanks to the clean paint apps on his face and the natural akimbo stance provided by his angled foot sculpts, Rager really comes to life in his robot mode. If only his kidney wheels could have folded out of the way even further to allow his arms to rest closer to his torso. Oh man, that makes me wanna huff. Dude is also packin'! Rager comes with an identical pair of Revolver Pistols. They have very sharp sculpts, and it's a shame that they come entirely unpainted, as that would only have highlighted their look even further. The only downside is that they have absolutely nowhere to go in his vehicle mode, and I can see plenty of candidates for weapon storage spots. He can't just fold his hands out, I guess, but then sideways smokestacks with hands sticking out the top holding giant revolvers. I don't know about this. I come from Canada, okay? Ooh, this guy's mad. Urgh. So this guy has got some very simple but well done posability, mostly. His arms are fully ball jointed at the shoulders and elbows. The elbow ball joints give him a bit of a bicep swivel, and if you want, he can kind of arc his fists like that, so it looks like he punched somebody way too hard, and he's like, "Oh, my hand hurts." He also can wield his little pistols quite happily, and because of the posability, he gets all kinds of range of being able to, pop dudes. He's got a really good waist joint. This comes from the transformation, but it helps out a lot. I find that blocky robots with waist joints just get so much more out of them, because it looks like there's just way more animation happening. His legs are also ball-jointed at the hips, much like his shoulders. It's pretty solidly done. He's got single-jointed hinge knees. You can fold his foot up if you want to be strange. And because of the nature of the transformation, he basically has double-jointed range on his knees, because they can collapse in so much. So that's pretty cool. His feet are on a joint, but it's not really a joint. I mean, if you want, you can move it forward slightly, so it's like he's, I don't know, walking, but I'd just leave him alone if I were you. Now, here comes the big thing. His head's on a ball joint. Problem is, his head also has all this mush around it, so if you're, your average Joe Transformers fan, and you're gonna go like, I want to pose his head, then you're probably gonna go like, oh man, I can't get it. I really think that the Mini Warrior Rager needed to have some kind of hinge on this thing to get it out of the way so you could get at his head, because really, you can't get at his head normally. Now, if you do a couple of tricks, you can get in there. The main thing is that you have enough space to get your fingers in here if your fingers are not too big. Mine fit in there, but, I'm kind of firing blind. You can see somewhat I'm able to move his head around. He's got a decent range, but it's tricky. You have to kind of, push his head back, and then tilt it, and then bring it back forward. Overall, it's a massive amount of work to even get this guy to look in a different direction, and then trying to move his head back, because of the way that you have to do this, you might just end up making it look straight again. You can muscle him into looking sideways, but it's just a ton of work, and it's really a bummer that the figure has this problem, of all things. And all they really needed to do was just this part here needed to be able to get out of the way. Something as simple as a hinge on the bottom and a clip, so it could just fold back and fold forward. And if it could fold back, then all this stuff inside here could have been used for weapon storage? I don't know. It's a design oversight, for sure. Is it crippling? No, not at all. Because this guy's still a pretty good toy. And I'm sure if you actually try to use, objects like tweezers or stuff, you can get in there and pinch his head, move it around a bit more. But, kind of a bummer. And it's really the only major knock I have against this guy, posability-wise. Also, his arms can't go down straight because these wheels are in the way, as I mentioned before, but I guess I'll just have to huff about it. Ho 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 ho! Rager was absolutely well worth the $15 I paid for him. As time has gone on, his price has crept up. For $15 to $20, I still absolutely recommend him. For $25 or $30, it's pricey, but his great build quality goes a long way. Over $30, you probably need to really love the Huff. If you can find this guy for something close to what he cost upon release, he's a very fun homage to a niche 80s robot character, whose downsides are far outweighed by his strengths. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus. I'd stick around, but I have some huffing of my own to do. Bye-bye! I made a drug joke. Spoiler alert.